Bobby Pierce is 2 for 2 this year, winning the opening night and night 2 at the Wild West Shootout. And he actually believes he can win 40 races this year, topping his 38-win season last year. However, he's not as confident when it comes to repeating the success he had at the Crown Jewels last year, this year, given the fact that they are so competitive. Roll this up over at stockcarreport.com. You can find the link in the description below. Bobby Pierce spoke with dirtondirt.com, who are on site at Vado Speedway Park for the Wild West Shootout. And this is what he said. He believes he can win 30 races this year. He is extraordinarily confident with that. He said, obviously we can do it because we did it the last 2 years, but people, they want to beat you for sure. The competition level is always stout. Every night, a lot of races you win are races that can go either way. The last 2 nights, I feel like it could have went either way. We could have finished second pretty easily. And I definitely think that is an accurate assessment. If you watched night 1, it was a small mistake by Garrett Albertson that allowed Bobby Pierce to slip underneath of him and get the lead with about 21 laps. Go about halfway through the race, a little over halfway through the race. Let's take a look at this right here from the highlights, courtesy of Flow Racing.
Vicky's root for Kate Diller's. If he wins, she gets $500 here tonight. There's a slider for the lead. That might have been the mistake you couldn't make if you're Garrett Albertson. Bobby Pierce to the lead out of turn number 4. Albertson turns back down the hill, and you got a new leader. As it looks like they did take that last lap. That'll be 30 laps in the books, and Pierce to the lead down the back straight.
So there you go. That is Bobby Pierce's move for the win. He would never look back. Albertson would stay within striking distance, but he was unable to really mount a challenge after that slight slip up there on that restart that happened because of Mike Marlar's flat tire. And then in night 2, Race of the Year contender already. Absolutely phenomenal race throughout. The last 10 laps, the duel between Brandon Sheppard and Bobby Pierce was absolutely fantastic. Here you can see we're looking at 9 laps to go here, where Pierce is able to kind of grab the lead from Sheppard, but then Sheppard is able to get back by him on the bottom side, as I think it's Garrett Smith is up there on the top side and gets Bobby a little bit out of sorts there, maybe knocks the air from him. Let's take a look at this right here.
Sheppard's got to make decisions. Another 2/10 off the lead. Pierce going to throw the Hail Mary through turns 1 and 2. He slides up the track. Sheppy turns back down the hill. Sheppard back to the lead. And off into turns 3 and 4. Pierce has been really good on the top in 3 and 4. That's where he made up a lot of ground on Sheppard. You could have a new leader at the line. Do you? Yes, sir, you do. Bobby Pierce by 300ths of a second with 7 to go. But Sheppy's back on the bottom.
Yeah, Sheppy back on the bottom down in turns 1 and 2. And once again, they have caught the tail end of the field. Pierce going to the low side. His car slips up a little bit. Brandon Sheppard drives back down under him. Sheppy back to the lead. 6 laps to go, and they've got lap traffic to deal with.
Yeah, right in front of Pierce's line, but Pierce has got a head of steam off into 3 and 4. Pierce can't slide himself. Sheppard down low. They'll race back to 5 to go. Pierce pinned behind the back car. Lap car, Garrett Smith. And Brandon Sheppard.
So there you go. Excellent racing there with about less than 10 laps to go. Pierce would eventually close back in and basically kind of return the favor to Sheppard there. Obviously, he got stuck behind Garrett Smith, and then Sheppard would get stuck behind Sam Mars here in the last lap with Pierce on the inside. Here is the pass for the win on the last lap.
Final time around the speedway. Can Brandon Sheppard get it done tonight? Pierce throws a slider into 1 and 2. Sheppard stuck behind Mars. Pierce is going to have the lead down low. Sheppard's going to have to slide him off into 3 and 4. DJ bring us home.
Through turns 3 and 4, side by side for the lead. Shep high. Bobby Pierce with the last lap pass will win night number 2 of the Wild West Shootout.
So you can see there that Pierce isn't lying when he says it could have gone either way. Sheppard takes the bottom there going into 1 and 2. Probably is able to hold off. Pierce wins the race instead of getting caught up there behind Sam Mars and allowing Pierce to go to the bottom. If Garrett Albertson doesn't have that slight bobble on the restart coming out of turn 2, maybe he's likely able to hold off Bobby Pierce and keep him behind him as he had done for much of the race. So obviously it could have gone either way, but who's the common factor there? Bobby Pierce is there in both races. He's there either in first or in second. He's there to make the pass for the win, and he's able to capitalize on it. And I think there is something to that. But as far as Pierce talking about whether or not he can best his 38-win season from last year, this is what he said. I don't know if we'll ever have a year that's good as far as crown jewels. Like maybe I can win 38 races again. Maybe I can win 40. Who knows? But as far as the crown jewels we won last year, that was another level of craziness. So it clearly sounds like he thinks he can do 38 and 40 again. Obviously, that's just 10 more than what he did, and he thinks he can definitely do 30. He only has to win 38 more right now. He's already won 2, and I think he's kind of the favorite moving forward in the Wild West Shootout, although Brandon Sheppard looked really, really strong there in night 2, and I think that he is going to be a very, very strong competitor throughout this year. The Rocket looks really good. He looked really confident, and he's looked confident for the past month or so, ever since he won his World of Outlaws championship, getting back in the Rocket. He just seems like a different driver, has a lot of confidence. He won the Gateway Dirt Nationals, so don't sleep on Brandon Sheppard this year. That night 2 performance at the Wild West Shootout shows that he is coming to compete night in and night out, and he is someone who can likely beat Bobby Pierce. In fact, Sheppard said this to dirtondirt.com, noting that Pierce is the one to beat. He's at the top of the heap right now. He says, I don't think he's going to get knocked off the perch necessarily. There's plenty of races for other guys to win. We ran more than 100 races in 2024, so there's plenty of other races to win. We just got to get where we can run with him and compete with him. Hopefully make it to where it's either him or I that are winning the races. That's tough to do because there's a lot of great competition out there, but we know in order to win 30 races, we're going to have to beat that guy at a lot of the big ones. And he's absolutely 100% right. Bobby Pierce is the guy to beat. Again, who did it come down to at Gateway? It was Brandon Sheppard and Bobby Pierce. Pierce breaking on the last lap, unable to complete the pass after he did indeed track down Brandon Sheppard, breaking there on the last lap. Still ended up finishing second, coasting to the start-finish line there. And then Dale McDowell, who's on hand at the Wild West Shootout. I think he'll be driving later this week. He'll be hopping the car. He also said this about Bobby Pierce. He says he's obviously matured racing so much, and he's just matured well as a driver. I mean, now he's good everywhere he goes, obviously, so that's a big part of it. And then all the racing that we do, it helps those guys learn and just become better in different scenarios, different type racetracks. I mean, used to several years ago, he was going to predominantly be good on the cushion, and now he's probably the best still on a cushion that I see, but he's also maneuverable. I watched the race Saturday night, and just him racing through traffic, he showed just a lot of maturity, racing through and taking care of his tires and stuff that he does now, more so than he did several years ago. So I think all that together just makes his program work good. It's always good when you got all these people in the pits chasing you. And I do think that is something to be said, right? Competition makes you better. I just watched kind of this Bad Boys documentary about the Detroit Pistons, and there's kind of a quote there from Michael Jordan where he said, if we didn't have to go through the Detroit Pistons in 89 and 90, etc., I don't think we win the championships that we won with the Bulls, because that kind of competition made them better. He had to get bigger. He had to get stronger to deal with the likes of the Detroit Pistons with like Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman, etc. And then they had to bring in another top talent in Scottie Pippen. So it makes you compete even harder. And that's what's great about dirt late model racing now, is because there are so many great drivers right now. We have Brandon Sheppard, we have Devin Moran, we have Ricky Thornton Jr., who aren't even at the Wild West Shootout yet. I mean, there is Ryan Gustin. I think he is going to be a dark horse with the World of Outlaws. Nick Hoffman was one of the guys chasing that championship last year with Pierce and Sheppard. You've got Mike Marlar, who's there. He was having a great race, had that flat tire in the first one. I think he came back and salvaged a top 10 finish, and then was up there racing for the lead for much of the race there in night 2. So there's lots of really, really strong talent, and there's lots of young talent too. I mean, look at Chase Younghands finishing 3rd there in night 2. You've got Drake Troutman. I mean, there is so much competition. Ethan Dotson, I think his program is coming along really well as well. And then obviously we're we're just talked about Dale McDowell. Brandon Overton is in the Longhorn car. It's going to be really tough. And I think all of this competition is going to push Pierce to continue to get better, continue to push himself, continue to push his program, continue to work at it. And we might see some of the best dirt late model racing ever this year. And I think a lot of it is going to come from Bobby Pierce. I am definitely optimistic that he gets to that 40 win total. You go back and just look at last year. Again, he got 38 wins, and there were some mechanical mistakes or mechanical failures that he had where he likely would have been competing for the win, and even some mistakes where there was that one, I forget which race it was, but he kept like a cover or something like that on the car, and that overheated the engine, and then he had to like rebuild a couple engines and things like that midway through the season that he probably didn't need to do. So I definitely feel like 40 wins is definitely within reach for him. And as far as the crown jewels, I'm probably more optimistic on him and that as well, because I think that he is going to raise his level of competition when he goes to those crown jewel events. He is obviously a very competitive person, and he's also laser focused. And you see that in the interviews that he gives night in and night out, whether it's him in victory lane, it's him in second, it's him in third. He doesn't like finishing in second or third. He wants to be the best. He's driven to be the best. And I don't see that drive going away anytime soon. And I think that's why he's going to get to that 40 win total this year. But let me know what you guys make of what Bobby Pierce had to say here to dirtondirt.com, believing that he can indeed get to 40 race wins this year. And he is already on the march there with 2 wins at the Wild West Shootout. Let me know in the comments below.